Good evening. Whoa, that is loud. Okay. Related to our mission of supporting and fostering learning through the generation and dissemination of knowledge, we would like to acknowledge that the land we are presenting from today is the original homelands of the Muskogee Creek, Kichiti, and Oconee tribal nations. We acknowledge the painful history of genocide and forced removal from this territory and recognize our role in the continued displacement of Indigenous communities and cultures. We will continue to incorporate Indigenous knowledge into our work and establish meaningful, reciprocal connections with Indigenous people and communities. We honor and respect the many diverse Indigenous peoples still connected to this land on which we gather. We also acknowledge the labor of enslaved peoples, primarily of African descent, who were forcibly removed from their homelands and whose labor was exploited to build many of the institutions and spaces in which we exist today. We are indebted to their labor and the labor of many people who continue to work in the shadows for our collective benefit.
Good evening. I cannot tell you how good it is to see a whole room full of people for this event. Welcome to the celebration of the 2022 UGA CSAA Master's Program graduates. I'm Laura Dean. I'm a member of the faculty, and I have the pleasure of serving as the coordinator for the Master's Program. I am thrilled to be in the room with all of you, not only the students, but our guests, the first in-person guests ever for opening ceremony, and to welcome everyone who's joining us online. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're glad that you've joined us to honor this group of outstanding graduates. Yeah. Our program only recently began doing a master's footing ceremony. The graduating class of 2020, some of whom are here tonight, had proposed it, developed it, planned it before the world shut down. Instead of being in person that year, we ended up doing it virtually with the graduates at home with family or in apartments with friends. Some had hoods, but most didn't. And so while it was a good celebration, it wasn't really a hooding ceremony as they had envisioned it. Last year, things still weren't quite back to normal. And while the graduating cohort was together, Dr. Dunn and I were there, but everyone else was watching it on live stream, as many of you still are tonight. It was good. We were together. We had hoods. We made it happen, but it wasn't as good as this. So this is the first CSAA M.Ed hooding ceremony where we've got family and friends and faculty and supervisors and colleagues here to celebrate these good students with us. We couldn't be more thrilled. So let me talk just a little bit about what a hooding ceremony is for those of you who may not quite exactly know what it is we're doing here tonight and why these things look so strange that we're about to hang around their necks. So a hooding ceremony is an event where members of the faculty honor the graduates by placing their master's hood on them, symbolizing officially that they have earned this degree. The shape of the hood, and if you have helped them with their regalia already today, you may notice that there's a kind of a long, strange tail that comes off the back of these. That means they have a master's degree. The light blue velvet shows that the discipline of the degree is education. And the red and black, not surprisingly, inside are because of UGA. The hood is a tangible symbol of a major accomplishment, a graduate degree. Most people in the world don't have one. Most people in the world don't aspire to or take on the work that this is involved with. And these students, these good new professionals have done that and done it so well. We're thankful for the opportunity to celebrate them tonight with this symbol. So the hood tells you that the person earned the degree, but it can't tell you all that went into that. When the group asked me the first year that we did this to give the introduction, they asked me to give some context for those of you who may not be as familiar with this master's program to understand what it has meant, what this is all about. As someone who's spent my career in student affairs, I get this. Most people don't even know our field exists or why, and that can be kind of humbling sometimes when you explain it over and over, but the work is important. So let me share a little bit about what these students are now prepared to do. You might have heard people say that much of what students learn in college, they learn outside the classroom, and that's true. It was true for me, I think it's true for a lot of people. Students learn from their academic programs, to be sure, but they also learn through going to orientation, living in a residence hall, attending events, helping to plan those events. They learn from interacting with academic advisors and career consultants. They learn from being in clubs and organizations, on intramural teams and fraternities and sororities. They learn from engaging with the community and with each other. They learn from being in leadership positions. They learn from testing limits and being held accountable when they do that. I could go on, but you get the idea. In every one of the offices that put on those programs, sponsor those events, and offer those services, there are professionals who have worked hard to learn how to help students navigate all of that, how to learn from it, and how to succeed. And many of those professionals come through a student affairs preparation program, like this one. So the students that we're honoring tonight have chosen this path, the path that the faculty chose before we kind of came over to the, we'll call it the dark side, the other side, and became faculty. And they've chosen to spend 2 years of their lives reading a lot, and writing a lot, and discussing a lot, and reflecting a lot, so that they have all of the knowledge and the skills and the awareness and the insight that they need to help college students get all they can from their out-of-class experiences. They've studied interpersonal skills and group dynamics and theories and history and research and assessment and administration and equity, diversity, and inclusion and legal issues and more. They've challenged and supported. They've formed and stormed and normed and are about to adjourn. They've done more group projects than they can count. And they've gained experience through practicums, internships, and assistantships. Those of you who are close to them may have the sense that they've been pretty busy for the last couple of years, and it's true. The combination of assistantships and supervised practice experiences that are required in the program mean that they're graduating with over 1,200 hours of supervised practice in addition to all the coursework. And throughout their graduate studies, this group has done much of it remotely. They've done it over Zoom. They've done it sitting in their apartments. And they've done it in the face of the pandemic and during times that have been marked by violence and social unrest and political divisiveness. It's been a lot. And yet they persisted. They continue to show up for class, for the faculty, for their supervisors, for their students, and for each other. It hasn't been easy, but they've done it. They've been busy, and they're tired. But they've accomplished so much, and we are incredibly proud of every one of them. We've watched them grow, and we're going to miss them. But we're excited to see the next step for them after UGA. Before we go on with the program, I want to take just a minute to thank the extraordinarily hardworking group of students who put this program together. Thank you to the CSAA Executive Board, and especially to the Pudding Ceremony Committee, including Taya Britton, Angela Cardenas, Clayton Lyme, Emily Morgan, Melissa Scott, McKenna Tollett, Claudia Wooten, and the person who, from my end, made sure it all came together and that Dr. Dunn and I showed up in the right place, Chandler Green. Please join me in applause for their work. Each year, the graduating cohort has the opportunity to select 3 students who represent them at various end-of-the-year celebrations. 2 weeks ago, we had a celebration, a virtual one, for all of the programs in our area. So the master's program, and we have 2 doctoral programs. That night, we had the pleasure of hearing Emily Crossett speak on behalf of the group. And the Theodore K. Miller Outstanding Master's Award was presented to Sarah Urbanski. Help me recognize both of them. And as part of this evening, another student has been selected by her classmates to speak to tonight's wider audience. The cohort selected Christina Lawler as tonight's speaker, and it's my pleasure to introduce her now. Christina.
Okay, here we are. Hello, how's it going? I hope everyone's pumped. This moment, I think my cohort has been talking about probably since the day we started, and I think it's helpful for you all to kind of understand like where we've been. Dr. Dean mentioned, we started on Zoom. Many of us picked the University of Georgia when things were in person and everything was happening, and we all rang the bell, and it was so wonderful. And something we reflected on recently was like, what are our best memories that happened while we were here together? And I think all of us can remember we did a Zoom happy hour. And we were all like, wow, grad school is gonna start. We're in the middle of a pandemic. And then there was this silence. And no one really knew what to expect and what to think. And I think all of us were a little nervous, but I think in that moment we all realized that this was gonna be a really special opportunity for all of us. And we're just so thankful to have all of you here with us. A few notable people to thank. Obviously, the cohort in front of me is just some wonderful people that one of us isn't even here with us tonight, but we are just so proud of each other and have just really supported each other throughout the journey. Our lovely faculty and other staff members that we get to work with. A lot of our students are here with us and our supervisors, and it just means a lot to see people come back and really celebrate with us this huge accomplishment that we didn't do by ourselves. I think something also that's interesting, we talked about having this opening ceremony, and many of us hadn't even stepped foot in the chapel before, and so I think a cool opportunity for all of you to kind of think about is for some of us, we're graduating from the University of Georgia, and there's still some places that we didn't even get to explore, and I know it's something that holds true in all of our hearts, that we're really hopeful to kind of keep coming back and see all the great work that will be continued to be done here. Moving on from all the thank yous, I think it's safe to say we did it. We're here, we're done, we're very excited. And I think for some of us, an important note as well, many of us didn't actually have a real graduation ceremony from undergrad. There's a lot of people in my cohort that this is their very first time being able to walk across a stage and have their family and friends with them, and I think that's a huge accomplishment, and I just want everyone to kind of keep that in mind. Moving on, I think there's some other things to think about when you think about our journey that we've had together. We've been on campus, we've been on Zoom, we've had friends come and visit us, we've gone home, but something has always kind of brought us back here, and I think it's really been each other, and it's been this experience that we've had. Many of us would talk in our Zoom rooms, and I know our faculty remember, there'd be several days that we would do a little check-in, and we were pushing like 3 out of 10, which is really something. And then recently we had a Zoom class, and they asked us how we were doing, and I think, if I remember correctly, we were all above 7. And I think that was something to really know. So just for you all to kind of understand what this year and these past 2 years have really been about, we couldn't have done it without each one of you that's here, and even those of you that are joining us on Zoom. This experience isn't just about us, it's been about every single person that's been here with us and alongside us, and I just know that everyone in my cohort feels so deeply about that and wants to make sure that everyone knows that this isn't just us, this is a huge celebration of everyone else that's here with us. Dr. Dean provided some context a second ago about what it is that we do, and I think sometimes a lot of us don't know how to tell people what we do. Even 2 years in, it's like, oh, I work on campus, I do all these different things. When we were talking at our brunch recently, we mentioned that some of our parents even have our degree title in their phone to be able to shout that out and talk about, this is what we're actually going to go out and do. But I want to make sure that all of you know there's a piece of this program, there's a piece of being at the University of Georgia that's going to be with us forever. Student affairs is significant to all of us, whether it's just working with students, being on a campus, being in the space with each other. And I know sometimes when you think about student affairs, that's not maybe the first thing that comes to your mind. You think about being in a classroom and taking those everyday classes, but it's just so much more than that. It's more than even just the textbook definition. I mean, we can tell you a million theories and how they are going to practice and all of the things that can come with it, but it really is being here at an institution with your peers and with faculty and staff and just having those different opportunities. If I had other things to kind of share about what this experience has been like, two things that we've really heard in our program is love favors the prepared and bloom where you're planted. I told everyone that I would keep this very light and bright, so I won't get too deep, but I think it's important just for you all to know that those have been two things that have really held true for all of us and something that really pushed us to get here today. You have to bloom where you're planted. You be where you are, you do what you have to do, and you'll get it done, but also we're prepared. We're lucky, but we're prepared, and I think that's another important thing. Two last things I wanted to make sure I shared with all of you today. Something that I have instilled when working with some of the students here is this concept that it's cool to care. And I think something that is hard to talk about sometimes are the things that you're passionate about, and it's not every day that you have the opportunity to stand in front of people and tell people that you're really passionate about a book, a class, whatever it is. Sorry, I can feel my hat sliding down. But I think it's important for all of us, whether you're graduating, whether you're a parent, a friend, to know that it's important to care. It's important to care, and it's cool to care about something that you believe in. And I hope that all of you leave here today knowing that that's something that all of us really embody, and that's something that we want to bring forward forever. I'm just going to have to take it off. It's just going to have to be it. Anyway, I think many people don't understand the late nights that we put in, the extra hours, and just going above and beyond. And I think sometimes that's the question that all of us get is, like, what's the point? What are you doing? Why is this so impactful? And like I said, it's cool to care. And it's cool to care about your students, and it's cool to care about your institution, and it's cool to care about all the things that you will do in the future. The last few things I want to say before I start to get emotional is that this is an important group of people. This is an important space. We will cherish these last 2 years that we've had together forever. And I just know that it's a good group of people. And so with that, go Dogs! And now, the big event. You ready? Yeah. Okay. Lydia, live.
Morgan.
We both really like to do it, so we do it to us. Shakoya Morgan. Emily Say. Haley Stoyer. Nicholas Steins. Sarah Urbanski. Mackenzie White. And the last member of the cohort is Lauren Willis. She would obviously be here tonight if she could, but her brother is graduating today. And so they're at that graduation today, and we'll be at this one tomorrow, and she sends her regrets. This has been a good evening, but more than that, it's been a good 2 years. They're not surprised. This is a really special group of students, and the faculty say that about all the cohorts that come through, and alumni, you were too. This one, as you heard, entered under some really strange circumstances and persisted under those really strange circumstances, and have been kind and generous to each other and to some of us in ways known and unknown. And we are so grateful and so proud. And I am so excited that these are our new colleagues in student affairs. There are many here tonight who have helped them get here. There's family, there's supervisors, there's students, there are first years who have been with them and supported them. There are members of our administration and other members of our faculty. And I hope afterwards you'll have a chance to talk a little bit with us and kind of share the joy. I also love the fact that the chapel bell keeps ringing. Because if you know UGA, you know that when things are good, you go ring the chapel bell. Any good. You can win a game, you can get an A on a test, you can get a job, you can grade, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's equal opportunity joy. So I love the fact that while we've been celebrating this group here tonight, that sound has been in the background, because I think there's just a lot of joy in the accomplishment that we're celebrating and that we will continue to celebrate tomorrow. So thank you for coming. If you're online with us, thank you for tuning in and joining us. We appreciate you and all of the ways that you have helped support this very important group of people to the success that they've had. Thank you.